2010 Subaru Forester. We have to do some wires and plugs. Let's get to it. Let's see if we can sneak these out without having to take off the battery. One boot. Two boot. Take a handy dandy pick tool and pop these clips loose. One wire to the side, another wire to the side. Might need a little extension such as that, because they're kind of down in the hole. Not terrible. I don't believe I just noticed this, but this seems like a problem. I'm gonna go inquire about acquiring a new cap for this and probably changing out that whole brake fluid. We'll get back to this in a minute. This totally caught me off guard. I don't know how I didn't see that, but I don't usually check to see if caps are there. All right, back to what we were doing. Ouch. See, I'm pretty lazy. I don't want to take things apart if I don't have to. I'd rather put all that effort into doing the job. And also, the less stuff I take off, the less stuff I gotta worry about. And I think we'll be able to squeak these plugs out of here without a problem. The other side, though, we're gonna have to take the battery off. This doesn't often work in a lot of Subarus. Also, in case you're wondering, I am a bit snotty today. Got some sign, might be a small cold, I'm not sure. Yeah, those plugs are just a touch worn out, maybe a bit. So we're doing these because the customer was complaining of the check engine light being on. It had one misfire code for cylinder 1, and I asked if they'd ever had their plugs and wires changed, and we didn't see anything in history about these ever being changed. So it's a good starting place. Start with just your regular maintenance. Make sure it's up to date. If it is up to date, then you have to look for something else. That one looks better. One, the electrode's worn off. The other one, it's not as bad. Interesting. I wonder if they changed one plug. So of course you want to double check your gaps to make sure that they're good, even though they should come pre-gapped. And then you want to very carefully navigate it into the hole without hitting anything. And once you get it down in there, it's threaded in. Should be very easy. You can use a socket, you can use a piece of hose. That's what I used to do back in the day before I got this beautiful spark plug socket. But I would get a piece of vacuum hose that would fit around the butt of the ceramic part here. It would just fit over like that, and you could get it in there and get it started. And then I'm gonna look up the torque spec and we'll torque it down. All right, those are installed. This is the torque spec that this engine requires, so don't quote me on it if you're working on your own engine and it's a little different. It might be different. You gotta look it up for your specific engine. Now we just gotta crush the crush washer. There we go. Beautiful. Next. Off. Thank you. Get that off there. Slide it in the next hole. You could do it a little faster if you put a smaller wrench on there. Maybe has a better throw. But this works. It's just a real short throw. Oops. Came off the rad. There we go. Come on. Just, there we go, we're getting there. Three lights. There we go, beautiful. And you just pop it off the end and extract conversion. Sweet. Now we gotta do is put the wires on, which we'll do after we do the other side. All right, this side, which is the passenger side, we're gonna take off this air duct, at the very least. Set that to the side, and it will honestly just be easier to pull out this whole air box. So, to make sure you can see, hopefully that lets you see a little better. Gotta get out these two clips. These just pull out, but these are also mostly broke, so take that off, set that to the side, and then you got two 10s. One there, and one down here. Personally, for this one, I like to use this little ratchet. It's a little 10 millimeters. Good Lord, they put that on tight. Woo. Watch this, it's pretty sharp, so don't cut yourself. It's pretty easy to do. There's that. Gonna need to unplug the mass airflow sensor. Just kind of tuck that over. Then For this, I just like to use a long extension. And that's the bottom bolt. Next, just get this ace or power steering line out of here. Then wiggle it all out. There. Set that to the side. And sometimes to make these plugs, let me move you. All right, so here's the plug wire. I like to twist it back and forth. Usually that helps it come out a little easier, but not all the time. Pull these wires out of the harness there so that it'll give me a little more play. There we go. And those are out. Well, apparently I can't find where in the Fruity Pebbles I put my ratchet. Well, I just spent a silly amount of time looking for my ratchet that was sitting on top of the engine like an idiot. That's okay. Yeah. Sorry if I sound a little different. I think I have a little bit of a head cold or something. It's just enough to make me stuffy. Not terrible. Not as bad as that first one we pulled out. That one's as bad as the first one we pulled out. It's so weird. It's like they changed two plugs. Again, check your gap. According to the literature, this should be 1 to 1.1 millimeters of a gap. So double check that. And then again, we'll torque them down to 21 Newton meters once we're done. I am super uptight about torquing spark plugs because they have a very particular heat range. They're engineered to have a certain type of heat dissipation granted by the tightness of the plug. So if you over tighten it, you could overheat the plug or underheat the plug or overcool the plug. So I like to torque them properly for maximum best results. This wire is just irritating me. one. Two. Click. Ah. And that is all for the plug installation. In case you're wondering, yes, this is a snap-on digital electric torque wrench. So, yay for that. It's only $450. Well, it was 3 years ago. So I don't know what inflation's brought it up to at this point, but there you go. All right, we got some Napa Not a Sponsor wires here, which, yep. They're even labeled 1, 4, 2, and 3. So let me separate 1 and 2. 2 of them will be quite long, 2 of them will be short. So we can go ahead and pull one off at a time. I don't know which one this one says it is. What about this one? Does this say anything? This is 1. So 1's at the top. And you just twist it. It comes off. So we'll get our other one labeled 1. Number 1. Put that on there. Clip it into here. Clip it into there. Tuck down below. Add a little dielectric grease around the lip, the rubber, and then install. Give them a good push, make sure they're good and seated. And we'll go ahead and get 2. I'm going to put the dielectric grease in it while I have it in my hand. And then we pull off plug 2. Twist and pull. Toss. Attach. It should feel it click. And then tuck this one down under, of course, and insert into hole. Hit insert hole. Hit. Then you'll feel it click, make like a little clicking noise even. And then for me, I just gotta open up this clip again. There. Oh, this one needs to go, this little jacket needs to go down as close to there as possible. And then we'll organize all these wires, make them look nice and pretty. Whoops. There. Clip down. And we're good. So, one side done. Now we can even reinstall the box. Ooh. Should be able to get your hand down here and start this bottom bolt. And then also this top bolt. Get don't have to kill this bolt, it's just holding it on. Same with this bottom one. Just get her nice and tight. That's installed. If you're ever confused as to which way this thing might go, look for all the dust. No dust down here, so this is the top. And then you just gotta find out that this has got the notch, that's got a notch, this doesn't have a notch. There you go. In case you ever get confused or forget something. And tighten up your clamps. There you go. Lastly, plugs the wire back in, which unironically goes behind it. There. Beautiful. Reinstall this, make sure you get it in the hole. Reinstall this piece, just make sure you get that side in the hole, and then you got your clips. Of course. As broken as these are, they will still do their job. Now for the other wires. Now for these two, what's going to be the best perspective, because this is a decent run. I guess back here. How's that look? Yeah, good enough. So we have our 2 and 4. Because I lied, that's 1 and 3 and 2 and 4, not 1 and 2. But I mean, they're pretty much the same. So as long as you know where they're going. And we know that if you ever do take things apart and get confused, you can just kind of gently set them down. We know that these are all run side by side, so this would be 2. And you also know this is cylinder 2 because it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Your number 1 cylinder is always on the, I don't know, it changes from manufacturer to manufacturer to the left and right, but the number 1 cylinder is always closest to the drive belts and the crankshaft pulling. So let's get number 2. These are going to be a little bit more interesting because of how they're positioned over here. Might have to pull the hose off or something. Thing you can do to assist yourself getting these off is use a pick tool to help break the seal. Or just use some pliers. So we're going to pull off this top one first, and we're going to leave it out because we're going to get to the bottom one. So just remember, top is 2, bottom is 4. Feed that down into there. Alright, that one's in. And finally, 2. get used to doing this again. Wire fell down and got all caught up. Set it on there. Reach down there with your hands. Feel like it's good and seated. So then we can take 4 and put it in these looms. Then take 2 and put it in these looms. And then of course we got to add the dielectric grease. A little bit in here. A little bit in here. And then it's just a matter of feed them down through there. Without getting them stuck on stuff. Not really sure what perspective you want for this, but we'll do one this way. This wire seems like it might be a little bit longer than the previous one. So you might have a little extra slack. Maybe not. We just didn't get through the loom up here. I don't know where in the world this cover's supposed to fit. Maybe up by the top. There we go. That works. There. Now we get number 2. Try to make sure it's good and in there. Try to make sure you don't have anything pulled too tight. Make sure you got a little looseness in the wires. There you go. And that is all you do to change plugs in a Subaru that have wires. So, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate that. I hope this video helped. If you needed help with it, if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, leave it in the description. Have a fantastic rest of your day. See you all in the next one.